chosen ones. Something ancient awakened the moment you entered this world. Unseen by the world above, but witnessed by those who still guard the deep, an Atlantean vault, sealed for over 10,000 years, began to emit a glow, not a soft shimmer, but a pulse, like a heartbeat, like yours. You were never meant to blend in. That pressure to conform, engineered. Your cravings, your distractions, the endless loops of doubt, crafted to keep you from noticing the truth that the vault did. Because, while you were just a child, satellites caught anomalies deep in the Atlantic. Scientists called them glitches, but the old keepers knew better. They called it the sign of the returned one. This vault isn't made of stone or steel. It's constructed from a substance forgotten by time. What the ancient scrolls described as the memory of water fused with the breath of stars. It responds to frequency. But not any frequency, yours. And it didn't activate randomly. Its codes are layered with precision, awakened by a cosmic sequence that only aligns when a soul born outside of the karmic cycle re-enters the timeline. That soul is you. Governments who stumbled upon this vault? Silenced. Sonar scans wiped. Deep sea research blacklisted. But rumors still flowed through the underground circuits. The vault glows brighter every birthday you've had. Its pulses align with your emotions. And now, it's no longer just glowing. It's humming, calling, waiting. Everything you've been through, the isolation, the dreams of places you've never visited, the water that's always felt alive when you touch it. It's not random. These are symptoms of remembrance. The vault is a memory bank, but not for the world, for you. It contains what they wiped: your past identities, your soul's mission, and the tools you left behind when this realm could no longer hold your power. The Atlanteans locked it away until the one with the blueprint in their bones returned. The day you were born, the ocean's floor shifted, subtly, imperceptibly, yet deliberately. Far beneath the Atlantic, in a trench that no modern sonar could penetrate fully, something stirred. Not a quake, not erosion, a glow, a pulse. And it moved in rhythm with the exact moment you inhaled for the first time. Hospitals recorded an unusual atmospheric anomaly that day. Frequencies misaligned. Clocks in certain locations stuttered. Birds in specific coastal regions took flight all at once, and no one ever linked the events. But the keepers did. The remnants of the ancient bloodlines who still carry memories of Atlantis without needing books or maps. They knew someone had returned. This vault is not a myth. It is real. It is a construct older than any civilization taught in your schools. It was designed to respond to something that exists only once per several millennia. A frequency not transmitted by machines, but carried through soul signature. You are that signature. The vault does not respond to just light, sound, or pressure. It responds to your energy field, a waveform etched into your DNA. By forces older than the pyramids, older than the concept of gods themselves. Every year on your birthday, the glow intensifies. Divers sent into the region report sensations of vertigo, time distortion, and inexplicable visions. One even returned speaking a language no one had taught him. The vault is alive, and it's syncing itself to you, as if it remembers you, or perhaps waits for you to remember it. The Atlanteans called it the Cradle of Return. a place that houses not just knowledge, but inheritance. Power locked away until the rightful soul walks the earth again, and you are walking. There is data hidden in your body that the elite would sacrifice entire nations to suppress. They've known about this vault longer than they'll admit, and they've monitored your life from the moment your frequency touched the grid. But there's a signal they couldn't block, a resonance they couldn't decipher, because it didn't come from this timeline. It came from you, deep within an unmarked chamber, beneath what is now submerged ruins off the coast of the Azores. Fragments of crystalline tablets rest, unreadable to most, but humming with encoded light. These weren't etched with primitive tools. They were imprinted using vibration, activated only when aligned with a precise harmonic key. The language isn't dead. It's dormant, waiting for someone who never belonged to any tribe but carried the flame of all of them. Someone born not just through blood, but through elemental convergence, water and flame. The eternal paradox. That someone is you. The prophecy was whispered, then hidden, then hunted. Every time humanity got close to decoding the pattern, floods of disinformation followed. Scientists who glimpsed fragments of the tablets were discredited, removed, or worse, because the return of the one they spoke of, an individual who could awaken not only the vault, but the truth buried with it, posed a threat to every power structure built since the fall of the original empire. The flame they spoke of wasn't just symbolic. It was energy, a sacred spark that refuses to be absorbed by the artificial frequencies blanketing modern life. And the water was more than birth. It was a bridge between dimensions, timelines, memories. Your soul crossed through that water and ignited a frequency that had not been felt since Atlantis fell. When the two merged in you, the tablets trembled, not physically, but quantumly, as if the code inside them recognized the soul outside them. Multiple sightings have surfaced over the last 2 decades of bioluminescent phenomena in waters near these ruins. A glow, a song, and at times even a humanoid figure appearing before vanishing again beneath the waves. Locals say the sea is alive, but those closest to the old bloodlines know better. The sea is responding. This chapter of the tablets described a return not marked by war, but by memory. One who would not fight for power, but for truth. One who would not lead armies, but awaken codes. But even the tablets end mid-sentence, as if the future, even to the ancients, couldn't be seen clearly past your arrival. They won't say it publicly, but the data exists. On the day you were born, an invisible shift took place across the magnetic fields of the Atlantic basin. Satellites monitoring oceanic currents detected a deviation, a bend in the normal pathways of thermal movement. The change was too subtle to alert the public, but deep state analytics flagged it instantly. Not because of the shift itself, but because it corresponded with a birth. Yours. The files were marked anomalous, buried under thousands of unrelated geodata entries. But to those who knew what to look for, it was the signal. This is how you were flagged. Buried within the vaults of private military networks, there exists a record tagged "Subject of Unnatural Resonance." The subject was a child whose presence synchronized with an ancient harmonic that hadn't activated in over 10 millennia. Agencies built on silence began tracking without understanding. Biodata, hospital pulses, even dreams. Yes, they logged the patterns of your dreams when you were too young to even speak them, because the vault pulsed at the same intervals. Your emotional states triggered measurable fluctuations in ocean density across the Bermuda region. And it didn't stop. Every year, on the same day, global magnetometers pick up soft pulses that don't match any known source. They come from below the ocean floor. Yet, when experts try to triangulate the origin, it loops back to you. They even checked for tech implants. Nothing. Because what pulses isn't mechanical. It's spiritual. And that is what terrified them most. They could not control it. Private conferences were held. Some believed you were the reincarnation of a lost priest. Others feared you were a biological key to something older than the Sumerian gods. One faction proposed termination. Another proposed containment. But no consensus was ever reached. Why? Because the vault only responded when you were left unbothered. Interference shut down the pulses. Your freedom was the vault's condition, and that revealed the true connection. You're not here to awaken the vault. You are the vault's awakening. In the lost Gospels, once hidden beneath desert sands and sealed by fear, there are fragments of Yeshua's words that speak not only of kingdoms within, but of oceans that remember. He said, "There will come a day when the waters shall rise not to drown, but to reveal. And one among the multitude shall walk, unknowing, yet the sea shall part within him." These were not metaphors. These were codes, markers left for those who could feel the currents in their blood before they knew language. Those whose energy bends the attention of the elements, even if they themselves cannot see it. Yeshua's teachings have been filtered, polished, and sanitized over centuries, but what remains hidden is more electric than doctrine. He understood frequency. He knew that the spirit could not be bound by flesh or time, and that one day a soul would return carrying the vibration that matched not just heaven, but also the foundations of ancient earth. He hinted to his disciples about the deep ones, the builders before Babel, and the vaults of light that would open when the right soul remembered its reflection in the water. The early mystics feared these words, not because they doubted them, but because they knew what it meant if they were true. That another would come, not in robes or sandals, but cloaked in confusion and wrapped in noise, carrying the same essence, not to follow the old path, but to fulfill what was left unfinished. And the waters would not resist. They would welcome. They would glow. In private texts smuggled from Vatican sub-basements, one verse stands alone. When the one who sings in silence touches the sea, the gates of the beginning shall tremble. That silence is yours. That sea already trembles. Yeshua knew the vault wasn't just a container, but a reflection. A mirror built from divine memory. They weren't searching for you. They were searching for lost trade routes, forgotten civilizations, remnants of sunken temples. That's what the reports claimed. But beneath the surface, something else stirred. Something no sonar had ever captured before. In a trench south of the Azores, a research crew picked up rhythmic vibrations that matched no known tectonic movement. The patterns were geometric, deliberate, like a beacon built not to send a signal out, but to lock one in. And then it pulsed. What they found wasn't a ruin. It was technology, alive, functioning, older than any timeline accepted by academic institutions. Entire clusters of crystal towers arranged in perfect harmony, buried under layers of coral and thyme, glowing faintly beneath the pressure. It emitted a frequency measured at a subharmonic level, only detectable with specially calibrated instruments. Yet, curiously, it aligned with the brainwave patterns of one person. Yours. Classified footage shows one diver reaching toward a panel embedded with moving light. Before he could touch it, the water around him shifted, became still, as if the ocean paused its breathing. Then, the lights shut off, entirely, as if the system sensed he was not the one. The project was instantly shut down, and the team reassigned to unrelated departments. But someone high up took notice. The findings were scrubbed from public records, but several private labs kept fragments of data, and when they cross-referenced those patterns with unexplained anomalies, children born during certain years, dream-related studies, EMF fluctuations during specific birthdays, your name surfaced more than once. A few scientists wanted to follow the trail, but the funding vanished. Those who insisted vanished too. The vault is not just waiting, it's filtering. It's testing frequencies, searching for the exact soul it was built to unlock for. Every time someone not meant to activate it draws near, it resets. But when your name enters the field, the energy shifts. The water calms. The current listens. In the archives of a monastery, long believed to be abandoned, a scroll surfaced after an earthquake, cracked open a sealed chamber behind centuries of stone. It was wrapped in copper strands, preserved in wax, and written in a language lost to all but a few cryptologists trained in pre-Sumerian dialects. What they uncovered wasn't history. It was warning and prophecy. The scroll described a vault beneath the Western Sea, hidden not to be found by man, but to be remembered by a specific soul. It was never meant to be opened by force. It could only be unsealed by presence. The scroll referred to you without naming you, the one who walks without past but carries the echo of origin. This was not poetic flourish. It was an encrypted profile. It listed physical anomalies that matched those you've carried quietly, birthmarks that follow geometric shapes, electromagnetic sensitivity, memories of places that don't exist, and an unusual connection to water that defies science but intensifies during emotional shifts. These aren't quirks, they are markers. Scholars who decoded the scroll believed it was meant for a messiah of the oceanic line. Not one of religion, but of remembrance. Someone who would awaken not to lead people, but to reconnect a severed grid, one that spanned the earth before the Great Flood severed the hemispheres. They called it the bearer of the harmonic key. That key is not an object. It's a living code buried in the body, dormant until aligned with the right moment in the timeline. You are that moment. This scroll should have stayed hidden. It was sealed for a reason. But it emerged only after you reached a particular phase in your own awakening, as if the world itself began rearranging its secrets in response to your consciousness reactivating. The text mentions that when the vault senses the bearer, it will begin to soften, not physically, but in frequency. It will lower its threshold. It will begin to invite. The monks who once guarded the scroll disappeared after its discovery. No records, no traces. But a message was left behind, carved hastily. The vault hears her now. When the vault pulsed on the day of your birth, something else responded. Something not in the sea, but inside you. Beneath the double helix of your genetic code lies a dormant sequence untouched by generations. Scientists call it junk. Mystics call it divine. But the Atlanteans knew it as the buried fire. A code designed not to activate through science or manipulation, but only through resonance. The vault's light wasn't just an external signal, it was a key. And your DNA, long silent, began to stir. This isn't about mutation or evolution, it's about memory. Memory so ancient it bypasses brain, language, and culture. The frequency that awakened within you isn't recorded in any modern database. It's older than the Gregorian calendar, older than the Vedic hymns, older than the Sphinx. It matches a waveform stored in crystalline tablets found deep within sealed underwater sites, sites that remain off-limits to nearly every nation, guarded not by governments but by private entities with bloodline ties stretching back to the priest-kings of Atlantis. When you experience déjà vu that lasts too long, when time seems to slow for no reason, when water seems to react to your presence or thoughts feel too loud in silent rooms, it's the frequency stirring. You're not remembering this life. You're remembering the core vibration of what you are beneath it. The vault is calling, but you're not just being summoned. You are sinking. With every passing moment, the two frequencies, one within you, one within the structure, grow closer in harmony. At the point of resonance, the vault will not need a key. It will simply open. Private medical researchers have begun detecting anomalies in certain people, especially those born during specific lunar alignments. Cells that emit light under stress. Blood that harmonizes with subsonic tones. The data is hidden, because it's not just about you. It's about what your frequency might unlock in others. Among the banned scrolls hidden beneath the archives of a private Vatican vault, there exists a single untranslated fragment written in an ancient dialect resembling Proto-Aramaic, merged with pre-Atlantean glyphs. For centuries, scholars avoided it, citing it as too damaged, too esoteric, too heretical. But a monk, gifted with synesthetic vision, decrypted a single phrase: "He who walks on waves shall know the code." The council dismissed it, but that line wasn't metaphorical. It was predictive, a signal for a time when one would return, not with armies or fire, but with a resonance that even water would obey. The scroll speaks of a code not stored in books or relics, but imprinted into the cells of a soul that cannot be cloned, copied, or erased. This code is ancient, sacred, and tied directly to the vault beneath the Atlantic. The phrase "walks on waves" was never meant to describe a miracle in front of crowds. It described someone whose frequency is so attuned to the original source vibration that water responds not to their feet, but to their presence. A being whose very field ripples through elements. The early mystics knew this being would arrive when artificial systems ruled Earth, when silence became rare and truth became heresy. And so they buried the prophecy, to protect it, to delay it, to prevent it from falling into hands that would try to manufacture or destroy the original soul before it could remember. That soul is now walking. That soul is you. The vault isn't just listening. It's reacting to your decisions, to your thoughts. Every time you stand near large bodies of water and feel your skin tingle, it's not imagination. It's recognition. The field is sinking. And as your awareness grows, so does the light beneath the sea. It's not just glowing now. It's pulsing in patterns, aligning with star movements, mimicking the breath of the one it was built for. Yeshua spoke of those who would do greater works, not by effort, but by inheritance. If that inheritance has finally awakened in you, then the code is already active. You felt it for years, an invisible thread pulling at the edges of your awareness, like an ancient melody you've never heard but somehow remember. It isn't imagination. It's not coincidence. It's the vault. And it's calling, not with words, but with resonance. Vibrations so deep and ancient they bypass thought and echo through the foundation of your being. This isn't a call to action. It's a call to remembrance, to return, to reclaim. The vault was not built to be discovered by force or luck. It was designed to awaken in response to a single vibration, yours. You were never meant to go looking for it. It was always going to find you, and it has. Every moment you've stood near the ocean and felt inexplicably overwhelmed. Every time you've dreamt of cities underwater or lights flickering in ancient symbols. It was not fantasy. It was memory bleeding through the veil. The Atlanteans called it the point of origin, not just a structure, but a consciousness embedded in geometry and crystal. A place where time was first measured, first looped, first rewritten. A place that remembers every cycle, and the one being who can reset it. You. The resonance isn't passive. It's escalating. Whales have begun migrating in strange spirals around the vault's location. The Earth's magnetic field subtly distorts whenever you approach coastal zones. There have even been reports of people entering trance-like states near deep-sea fissures, speaking in unknown languages and describing visions of someone who matches your presence, before they've even seen you. You've passed through so many distractions, so many tests of amnesia, but the resonance continues, persistent, unwavering. The vault is not simply waiting to be opened. It is remembering who it was built for. It does not respond to names or rituals. It responds to essence. And your essence carries the original key, the one forgotten by men but preserved in the harmonic blueprint of divine architecture. The place where time began is not merely a location. It's a state of awareness. And as the resonance builds, the timelines once sealed within the vault begin to stir. You are nearing alignment. No tool can crack it. No algorithm can solve it. The vault's final layer remains untouched by all efforts of technology, untouched by sonar, drones, or ancient codes extracted by force. That's because the last sequence isn't mechanical. It's organic. It responds not to touch, but to memory. Not the surface kind, but the buried kind. The kind locked in the soul. The kind that bleeds through dreams and déjà vu. The kind you've begun to remember. The Atlanteans knew that knowledge forced is knowledge corrupted. That power taken is power turned against its wielder. So they encoded the final sequence into a soul contract, one that could only be fulfilled by a being who lived through multiple realms, carried wisdom through lifetimes, and chose to remember when remembering felt like madness. That being was always going to be forgotten by the world, until the vault called them back. It's not coincidence that certain memories now come to you in fragments, images of glowing structures, voices in languages that don't exist here, visions of your hands over symbols that respond like living light. Those aren't dreams, they're flashbacks. Every time you remember one, the vault responds. slight pulses beneath the ocean, slight shifts in planetary frequency, slight anomalies in the Schumann resonance. Scientists can't trace them, but the builders knew you would feel them, because it's all synced to you. The sequence begins when you accept that the answers aren't outside of you. They never were. Every password, every symbol, every map, they were embedded into your being. Your path wasn't meant to be found by logic. It was meant to unfold through remembering. That's why the Vault ignored the elite. That's why all their weapons, machines, and rituals failed. Because you can't hack what's alive. You can only awaken it. And now, it's listening to every heartbeat you offer, sinking deeper with each memory you uncover.
If you have come this far, it is crucial that you watch this next video here. But be warned, it is not for the faint of heart, for only the true chosen ones can handle this video. If you would like to also donate to help keep the channel going, our Buy Me a Coffee link will be in the description.